You want to begin by penciling the top of the book, then proceed to pencil the front pages here, then the side pages, and then finally the bottom part of the book. Um, Make sure that as soon as you pencil the shape that you make it as close to the color of the average midtone of the shape that you can. So start there, go ahead and pause, pencil these four sides. Once you get those four sides penciled, you want to go ahead and rasterize them. Make sure that before you rasterize that you have no gaps. So for example, with my direct selection tool, if I were to say have a gap here, for whatever reason, make sure you go in and close it up. There should be no gaps. It should be very solid. So I want to go ahead and rasterize each of these. And then I'm going to proceed to go ahead and start painting each side. So I'm going to start with the top. So with my top layer selected, I'm going to start by popping in this black spine here. So I'm going to grab my paintbrush. The spine here, the edges are very more hard edge, so I'm going to make sure my paintbrush is maybe between 90% and 100% hardness. Turn up your opacity to 100%. Grab the color picker down here and grab, because it's not quite pure black, it's almost like an off black, so grab that color. And then with your paintbrush selected, you want to make your paintbrush, I'd say around 45, size 45. So I'm going to grab my magic wand, select the top so that way the paint stays inside the selection. Again, grab that paintbrush that I have set up, and then I'm going to do the shift trick to make a nice straight line. So I'm going to click here on the left, push shift, and then move over here, and click over here on the right. And it's going to make a nice straight line, and it's going to create that black spine. So then I'm going to go ahead and start adding some tones here on the top of the book. So I'm going to reselect using my magic wand, just the red part. I don't want the black part selected. And I'm just going to add a little bit, because if you look very, very subtly, the top of the book is a little lighter here at the in the middle. So I'm going to lower my opacity again. Soften my brush, so make sure it's 0% hardness. I'm just going to lighten, and that is too much, so I'm going to turn my opacity down even more. And just lighten the middle here, just a little bit, to give it a little bit of form. And then if you look closely in the reference photo, you have these lips on the side of the book where it's a little bit darker and it has like a little bit of a highlight, almost like caught at the top edge. So let's use our dodge and burn, which are down here on your toolbar. So I'm going to use my burn tool, and I'm just going to burn those little lips in. So I'm going to click, push shift, click to darken. I'm going to do that over here on this one. So click on one side, hold shift, and darken. And then I'm going to grab my dodge tool and just kind of pop in that little bit of a highlight. So click, shift, click, click, shift, click over here. And it creates like illusion of almost like an edge. And I'm just going to brighten right here just a little bit. I'm just going to kind of click. I'm continuing to click. I'm almost like painting in. I might up my exposure a little bit. Just painting in kind of those little rough highlights there. Okay, add a few more over here. Give it kind of that rough edge. All right, now I'm going to do that on the black spine. You'll see the black spine also has kind of a little almost worn highlight there. So dodge tool, just going to paint in. And for this, because this is almost like a shadow color, I'm going to change this to shadows for my range. So that way it actually lightens. So I'm lightening up a little bit right there. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hit Control D to deselect. And I think I would say I'm done with the top. So let's move on to this right side. So I'm going to select the side of my book. Select it with my magic wand. And this is doing this because there's overlap, and that is okay. So if you look here, you have a little bit of radiosity going on. You have a little bit of red almost reflecting. So I'm going to select that dark brown color, bring it a little bit more towards the red. And I'm going to paint in color really subtly. Okay, near the bottom. And then it's a little bit lighter at the top, so I'm going to grab white, just lighten up here. And then you have these really fine page lines. So a new trick I'm going to show you is you want to use one of these bristle brushes. So I say this one here, the second one here, is a really good one to use. So I'm going to grab a dark brown, and I'm going to make this brush kind of small. Okay, so about 35, and we're going to do the shift trick. So click, shift, click, and it's going to create, and you want to do it all the way down. It's going to create kind of like the illusion of those lines. Click, shift, click, okay. And then I'm not going to worry about this little, it's like a little mess up here. I'm not going to worry about that. So we are done with the side of the book. So let's move on to the front. So use your magic wand, select, and then we need to put in these chunky pages. Before we do that, let's go ahead and darken the right or the left side over here. So grab your blurry paintbrush again, and with a dark brown selected for your paint color, go ahead and just darken this right side. And then we're going to switch to our chunky brush again, this one here. Go ahead and make it about, I'd say 80. And then we're going to do the shift trick again. So click, shift, click. Make sure it's going parallel or kind of in the same direction of your book. Again, I'm actually going to up my opacity a little bit to make my pages darker. Click, shift, click, click, shift, click. And it gives it that almost that page texture. So I'm going to switch to white just to bring up those light pages again. Again, click, shift, click. And it gives the illusion of pages. I'm just going to pop in some darks. So this is just being really picky. So I'm going to select kind of this golden brown color. And with my blurry brush, I'm just going to glaze in kind of this dark, rich color again here on the right side. I feel like it's starting to get lost. Okay. I'm going to make it a little bit darker. I'm darken over there just a little bit. All right, so this side is done. Let's go ahead and finish up by working on the bottom. So I'm going to have the bottom selected. Grab my paintbrush, set it to a hard edge paintbrush. And we're going to paint in this black spine. So I'm going to click. I got to up my opacity. Paint in this color. Got that done, and then I want to just lighten up the front. So I'm going to grab this light red. Make my brush a little bit softer. I'm just going to lighten up this front edge. And then from here, it looks like you're all done. So I'm going to go ahead and go to File and go ahead and upload it to Classroom.